City builders. You know, that type of games where you become a civil engineer worst nightmare. I really like that type of games. With all their common features like roads, buildings, zones, the sense of regret when I realized that my traffic plan wasn't as good as I thought. Oh, you know, all the good stuff. So I actually decided to make a game without any of those features. With the notable exception of buildings because, well, you need them for it to be a city. I made this game a couple months ago as my final project for an Unreal Engine 5 course I took. It's kind of rough around the edges, it has a lot of bugs, but, well, I can show you and you'll see for yourself. So this is it. As you can see, we have a plethora of things to do in this game, like zoom in and zoom out, move, wow, rotate the camera, choose building, place building, wow, look at those polygons, rotate building, place building on an asteroid that's not going anywhere, placing building on a wall. Oh yeah, look at that. Useful, among other things, but the most important one is regenerating the whole thing and changing colors. But that's no game. The actual game happens in the high score game mode. As you can see, we get a platform, all normal, but now we have a button and we get to choose one of many building packs. As you can see, we have a service pack and
it's free real estate.
We are going to choose this one. As you can see, we get score now, and after we reach a certain point, we can choose another pack. Gameplay. But that's pretty much it. We can see all the relationships we have with all the buildings. And after a while you get a high score. As you can see, this is my last building and, well, I won't reach the actual score, so oh, now we got a high score. And there I was with a finished demo. But how did this all came to be, you ask? Well, let's backtrace a little, shall we? So, as I said before, this game was my final project for a course about the fundamentals of Unreal. And here's the thing, for some reason my smart brain thought, hey, I can take this course, it's not like I have something important to do or anything. And so I didn't begin the project until like a month and a half before it was due. Yeah, in hindsight it wasn't my smartest move. But I did it anyway. And my first task to make the game was choosing a genre. That first task took me a while because I wasn't sure what I wanted to make. Not until YouTube recommended me a video about Townscaper. And I just thought, hey, it looks fantastic. I can probably do that, right? Nope, no you can't, no. And that there was the moment when I started making my descent into the rabbit hole of city builder games. And oh boy, it's quite big. No, like seriously, have you seen how many subgenres there are? There are a lot! We have the simulator kind, which is probably the one that comes to mind first when talking about city builders. Games like City Skylines or SimCity. Then we have the diorama kind. These are games that let you make cities that look rather nice, with decorations and tiny details that kinda helps you create a story. Games like Townscaper, Monterona, or more recently, Tiny Glade. Then there's also the civilization kind. You know, games that are played on a hexagonal game board that have a Catan resemblance. They let you create cities, trade, make armies and stuff. Some of the games are civilization or humankind. And on a side note, here when looking around, I found a game that looked like the civilization kind because of the aesthetics, but it was more like a puzzle game mixed with a card game. It was made by Cube Accent for the Pirate Software Game Jam. The game is called It Sprawls, definitely a recommendation. And why do I bring this up? Well, in that video, I got a recommendation about the game I mostly ripped off while making mine. The video by Likey Game Labs showed me Islanders, and that in turn showed me what the core mechanics of this type of games were. Adjacencies, the relationships between close buildings. And let me be honest, I don't even know why I didn't think about that. It was so simple. It was just great. Like, my mind kinda popped. And as the good game developer that I am, I just did the old bickety boppity, your gameplay is not my property, and I wasn't even subtle. I just took the whole thing. Like, actually, I even went into the games wiki and took the formula for calculating the next score goal. Granted, I changed like one variable that didn't apply to my game, but it was the same thing. I can only say thank you, Grizzly Games. Thank you, Paul, Friedman, and Jonas. I'm gonna lit up a candle for each one of you, next to an image of Santharius for any dire situation I encounter in the future. Actually, you know what? Let me do that right now. Aha! Now that that's been taken care of, let's move on, shall we? Step 2. Planning the features. Next part was simple. I needed a way to plan the features the game was going to have. That was rather easy. I just took the game design template shared by Pirate Software for his game jam. Then, as I said before, I pretty much filled it with most of the features Islanders have. Well, that and one other game mode that didn't make the cut. If you have Keysight, you probably saw the third card that was in the game mode selection menu. Well, that was going to be a roguelike mode. It was going to be like FTL Faster Than Light. You were going to have a map and you would be teleporting to different start systems until you reach a final boss. Well, that was the general idea. The only issue was the time constraint I faced and the quality of my code. Why do I bring the code into this? Well, there's a reason why I'm not showing that much of the code. Let's just say it's quite bad. I didn't have much time to plan the development of the systems. I just wrote code. I didn't think about how the systems would scale up. And this meant that I wouldn't be able to reuse most of the code for the roguelike mode. So I just focused on what I could finish. Actually, you know what? Now that I don't have the time constraint, I could probably finish the mode. Obviously that would mean that I would need to rewrite most of the systems, and that would take some time. But if you guys want me to finish the last game mode, leave a comment, and if there's enough support, then I'll get to it. But anyway, as most of you guess, the last step is the development. As I said before, I needed to develop a couple systems, some of which you saw in the introduction of the video. Let's list a couple more, shall we? I had to make the platform and asteroid spawning systems, the inventory systems, the building detection, the points calculation, and many more. And that's only the gameplay side of things. I also had to make the whole UI, main menu, settings, icons, and the music. There is only one. And the sound effects. There is also only one. And last but not least, I also had to make the models and textures for the game. Yeah. Did I mention this was my first 3D game? Well, this last part took most of the time. I kinda know how to draw, and I kinda knew how to code. But modeling? That's new for me. Now, also add the fact that I didn't know how to texture models, and you get a formula for disaster. And so I did what any person would do. I sat down and learned. No! What actually happened was that I went out of my way to find an automatic solution that took more time to make, because that's what we programmers do. But what's the solution? Shaders. Oh, you don't know how life-saving the shader was. Actually, let me show you. This is the game with shaders, this is the game without shaders. Oh yeah, it's night and day. It also adds to the game style I was going for. You know, the whole steampunk thing? I've always loved a good steampunk style, but I don't see it very often mixed with space stuff. That's actually why the initial project name was Space City Builder. The thing is, with my lack of modeling and texturing skills, I didn't have much to work with if I wanted that style. But when looking for inspirations for the UI, I came across the 19th century poster style, and it all fell into place. I knew exactly what I had to do, and with the help of some YouTube videos, I was done with the game. I really enjoyed working on this project. It was also my first time using Unreal Engine, so I gotta say, it's really nice to work with. The blueprints carried the development by a long shot. They are really nice to make fast prototypes. Also, working in 3D was a blast. Now looking back, I would have done so many things differently, but I really liked the result. With that being said, I don't know how to finish a video. Leave a like if you want. It's my first video, so subscribe if you want to see what's next. And that's all, see you later fellas.